Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Only the dead have seen the end of war. The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. One of the penalties of refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. Ignorance, the root and stem of every evil. And when one of them meets the other half, the actual half of himself, whether he be a lover of youth or a lover of another sort, the pair are lost in an amazement of love and friendship and intimacy, and one will not be out of the other's sight, as I may say, even for a moment. Human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. Education is teaching our children to desire the right things. The madness of love is the greatest of heaven's blessings. If women are expected to do the same work as men, we must teach them the same things. Courage is knowing what not to fear. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. In politics, we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to administer a city or a state. When we are ill, we do not ask for the handsomest physician or the most eloquent one. You should not honor men more than truth. There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help and what they cannot. When men speak ill of thee, live so as nobody may believe them. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Then we shan't regard anyone as a lover of knowledge or wisdom who is fussy about what he studies. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. No thing more excellent nor more valuable than wine was ever granted mankind by God. And isn't it a bad thing to be deceived about the truth, and a good thing to know what the truth is? For I assume that by knowing the truth you mean knowing things as they really are. A sensible man will remember that the eyes may be confused in two ways: by a change from light to darkness, or from darkness to light. And he will recognize that the same thing happens to the soul. Si vis pacem, para bellum. Love is of something, and that which love desires is not that which love is or has. For no man desires that which he is or has. And love is of the beautiful, and therefore has not the beautiful. And the beautiful is the good, and therefore, in wanting and desiring the beautiful, love also wants and desires the good. Time is the moving image of eternity. Anyone who has common sense will remember that the bewilderments of the eyes are of two kinds, and arise from two causes, either from coming out of the light or from going into the light. Love is a madness produced by an unsatisfiable rational desire to understand the ultimate truth about the world. But afterwards there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day, a night of misfortune, all your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis in like manner disappeared in the depths of the sea. They deem him their worst enemy who tells them the truth. Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. As it is, the lover of inquiry must follow his beloved, wherever it may lead him. Do you mean that the tyrant will dare to use violence against the people who fathered him, and raise his hand against them if they oppose him? So the tyrant is a parasite, and little comfort to his old parent. The truth is that we isolate a particular kind of love and appropriate it for the name of love, which really belongs to a wider whole. The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our ways, I to die, and you to live, which is better God only knows. To the degree that I cease to pursue my deepest passions, I will gradually be controlled by my deepest fears. Not exact, but the two most important questions are: who will teach the children what they teach them? The most important thing is not life, but the good life. He who refuses to rule is liable to be ruled by one who is worse than himself. The only thing he ought to consider, if he does anything, is whether he does right or wrong, whether it is what a good man does or a bad man. Virtue is the desire of things honorable and the power of attaining them. Knowledge unqualified is knowledge simply of something learned. Attention to health is life's greatest hindrance. Only those who do not seek power are qualified to hold it. Mankind censure injustice, fearing that they may be the victims of it, and not because they shrink from committing it. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Music and rhythm find their way into the secret places of the soul. Love is the joy of the good, the wonder of the wise, the amazement of the gods. Human nature was originally one, and we were a whole, and the pursuit of the whole is called love. A poet, you see, is a light thing, and winged and holy, and cannot compose before he gets inspiration and loses control of his senses, and his reason has deserted him. Must not all things at last be swallowed up in death? The wise man will want to be ever with him who is better than himself. Love is a great spirit. Everything spiritual is in between God and mortal. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. You take the words in the sense which is most damaging to the argument. All of a sudden, he will catch sight of something wonderfully beautiful in its nature. That, Socrates, is the reason for all his earlier labors. Most people are not just comfortable in their ignorance, but hostile to anyone who points it out. The greatest mistake in the treatment of diseases is that there are physicians for the body and physicians for the soul, although the two cannot be separated. Both wealth and concord decline as possessions become pursued and honored, and virtue perishes with them as well. The men of the cave would say of him that up he went and down he came without his eyes. Every king springs from a race of slaves, and every slave had kings among his ancestors. Let no one destitute of geometry enter my doors. For a man to conquer himself is the first and noblest of all victories. The worst type of man behaves as badly in his waking life as some men do in their dreams. The evil never attains to any real friendship, either with good or evil. But I am too stupid to be convinced by him. I am inclined to think that these muscles and bones of mine would have gone off long ago to Megara, or Boeotia by the dog they would, if they had been moved only by their own idea of what was best. It is impossible to improve the world if first the man does not improve. The beginning is the most important part of any work. I am better off than he is, for he knows nothing, and thinks that he knows. I neither know nor think that I know. I really do not know, Socrates, how to express what I mean, for somehow or other our arguments, on whatever ground we rest them, seem to turn round and walk away from us. And what, Socrates, is the food of the soul? Surely, I said, knowledge is the food of the soul. The comprehensive mind is always dialectical. I'm afraid that it might actually be sacrilegious to stand idly by while morality is being denigrated and not try to assist, as long as one has breath in one's body and a voice to protest with. I am smart because I know I'm nothing. Beauty is the splendor of truth. Would he not say with Homer, better to be the poor servant of a poor master, and to endure anything, rather than think as they do and live after their. The muse herself makes some men inspired, from whom a chain of other men is strung out, who catch their own inspiration from theirs. Because it is correct to make a priority of young people, taking care that they turn out as well as possible. And will life be worth having if that higher part of man be destroyed, which is improved by justice and depraved by injustice? Man is the measure of all things, of things which are, that they are, and of things which are not, that they are not, tilde Protagoras. But why, my dear Crito, should we care about the opinion of the many? I pity you who are my companions, because you think that you are doing something when in reality you are doing nothing. I am speaking like a book, but I believe that what I am saying is true. I say that justice is nothing other than the advantage of the stronger. But of the heaven, which is above the heavens, what earthly poet ever did or ever will sing worthily? Since then, as philosophers prove, appearance tyrannizes over truth, and is lord of happiness. To appearance I must devote myself. First and best victory is to conquer self. To be conquered by self is, of all things, the most shameful and objectionable. Self-conquest is the greatest of victories. Star of my life, to the stars your face is turned. Would I were the heavens, looking back at you with 10,000 eyes. We can easily forget a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Life, Plato,